Ladies and gentlemen, Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable about a client company called NioCorp that is rocking and rolling, and the news is good as of late. I am Rob, that is Galen, that is Christopher, and that is Vishal upstairs. NioCorp, well, it's Mark Smith. They're based in Centennial, Colorado, and it's NB, Nancy Bridget, on the Toronto Exchange. Guess what? They bring in all kinds of rare earth metals and such, and they've had some good news lately because, batteries, electric cars and such. California has banned the sale of internal combustion engines by 2035. That's good news. There's also federal tax breaks in the United States for EV purchases, and also as it relates to tax credits for companies that make a number of critical minerals. Guess who makes critical minerals, Vishal? That would be NioCorp.
Yep, for sure, Rob. And it looks like that project just got a bit more attractive there with those tax credits. Talked about NioCorp in the past. They are a primary niobium mine, but they have all these critical minerals, and there's only a handful of these mines around the world. And NioCorp is sitting on essentially the second largest rare metals resource, second largest rare earth resource in the United States. And we've talked about how de-risked they are. They're quite advanced. They have a resource. And now it's all about finding that capital to build a mine and get that project going. We looked at the numbers and the ROI before, and perhaps this tax legislation here will make these type of projects more interesting. And I think still the big sort of factor is, yes, the domestic stuff is great, but I still think that geopolitical stuff is even more better in terms of the future for rare earth minerals, because as you guys all know, China is one of the largest producer of rare earths. And in my article here, I have a chart of their share of global production. China leading the way of 60% of global production, or more than half of the world's total rare earth production. And of course, relationships between the two countries aren't the greatest right now, especially since the U.S. here imports almost 100%, really imports 100% of the rare earth and critical resources that they require. So I think creating this domestic production is going to be super important. And I think a project like NioCorp and their project is going to be something that investors and perhaps, maybe even with some government intervention, is something that the markets and investors should be keeping an eye out on.
Is this one of those deals, Chris, that kind of the upside is, I don't want to say endless, but somewhat infinite?
The upside is big. Look, this is a $290 million market cap company, so one of the bigger ones that we represent. If you look at the stock for the last 2 years, it's at about half where it's been at its peak, and it's at about 2/3 where it's been at an average. Right. So this means that back in early 2021, still COVID times, you could have got this thing for $1.50 a share. Today, it's $1. So you're actually getting something that's progressed 2 years closer to production, proved out more of their resource, and a sector that we know is in short supply and high demand. You've got the US government's infrastructure bill that's going to require a lot more rare earths. You've got the chip bill, which is going to inspire a lot more electronics creation in the US. And you've got this thing at it's not a low, but it's not far off it. Like this is a gimme right now. It's not under cashed, right? So the risks aren't, it's going to run out of money and disappear in typical House Street fashion. No, this is a big boy company, right? These guys have been around for a while. They got some cash behind them. They've got definitely a large resource, as Vishal said. And whether it's down today because the markets are down, whether it's down because someone with a big chunk of it had to buy some early Christmas presents for little Timmy, or some late Valentine's presents for she who will not be named. It's a bargain today. Yesterday it was at $1.05. Today it's 97 cents. Why would you even worry about whether it's the right time or not? Get in on this thing because it will advance. Yeah. The US government has demonstrated, both sides of the government have demonstrated previous administrations and this administration, that they want projects like this to exist. They want the end users to exist. This is a strategic, definite that they need this to exist in the world. They need rare earths to exist. This project is more likely than most to get up. And to mine, you buy in today, you put it in a lockbox, and you don't even think about it for the next 3 years.
Galen, as we view this, we've heard a lot from Mark Smith lately. He's talked to Jody and Maddie, and you can check that out on the website. Your thoughts on hearing from these fellers?
Well, as Chris mentioned, this company's been around for a while. Management has deep experience within the industry and are also deeply knowledgeable in the mineral that they are attempting to mine, which is not necessarily an oddity, but it is a definite bonus within the industry. These guys are really hot onto what they do, and they really know what they're doing. Now, they've progressed this project to the point where really they just have to put the cash together to make it happen. It's already there. There's no guessing anymore. And it's, in fact, so well beyond that they've actually managed, and with a big consideration with projects like these, is the offtake agreements. You know, where are you going to sell this crap? Who's going to buy it? And a lot of guys don't think about that until they're about ready to put the shovel into the ground. These guys have already pre-sold a large share of what they intend to produce, and that will only increase as they start producing. Now, being a domestic supply of a critical mineral in a world where we're severing relations with some of the largest producers of these minerals will probably mean that we'll be in the search for them, and we will need them. Now, of course, we've got a global economy right now that's a little bit sketchy at best, and we don't know where it's going to be in the next little while. However, in the long run, there really is only one direction to head. This isn't something that's going to be a Robin Hood type of investment. Not a day trader. Don't do that crap. This is something you put your money in and walk away and come back 5 years later and go, oh, wow, look at that. That's what you need to do. So I'm all behind NioCorp. These guys impress the hell out of me. The project impresses the hell out of me. The size of the resource, the quality, and everything's there. Yeah. Everything's there but the pudding.
They just got to put it together. That's it. They just got to put the processes in place and move this thing along. And what their last two news releases show is that the government is in line with their motivations. Right? They're applauding what the U.S. government is doing to get this industry moving forward, and it does nothing but help NioCorp.
Michelle, Chris mentioned the dynamic over the last couple of years of the stock chart. So what's up?
Yep. So again, I just want to highlight, I think Galen made a great point here. This is definitely one that I think is great for the long term, right? Like all the fundamentals are great. Obviously, I like to throw in some of the technicals here as well. So if you are someone that wants to, time things, maybe, listen to what I'm going to say here, but I think it's really important to focus on that long-term horizon, especially with a project like this and all the fundamentals we just mentioned. So the stock, the last time we were looking at it, it was forming this cup and handle pattern that we called out here at Equity.Guru. We had this bounce here at 80 cents. We formed a cup and handle here, and I actually do have a cup in front of me so you can sort of see the shape of the technicals that it gets its name out of, cup and handle. You have your cup, you have your handle. Very important reversal pattern. We had that breakout actually on August 8th there, and you can see from that breakout, we did have a move of 20%, taking us to $1.10 in a few weeks there. So that was an important breakout in my opinion, and currently it does look like with the current market weakness, we might be heading back to that 93 cent level for that retest, where I do expect there to be buyers because of the technical indicator that we have here. $1 I think is also a very important psychological number, and that's exactly where we are at time of recording. So I'd be watching to see what happens there. But I have to say, from a technical perspective, this is looking good. We had that breakout above 94 cents after months of range here, and to me, I expect to see more higher lows and higher highs, but of course, fear and maybe what's happening to the broader markets is something that might, dampen that momentum. So as a trade, you might see a bit of a pullback here, but I think it just presents a better opportunity to accumulate long-term positions, because I think this is definitely a company with a project that is going to be very important for domestic supply and for geopolitics in the future.
Vishal, if you could you move that back to 3 years, that chart?
Yep. I can just do a weekly, and I can show you guys that this is 2019. Yep.
Can you now go back 5 years?
Yes, sir. There's 2017.
Can you go back 10 years?
I can go up to 2013. There we go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Like, if that was a chart that was this year, you'd be like, well, that's a big win.
Yeah.
That's a decade.
Yeah.
Well, not a decade, but that's like the entire history of this company has been up, down, up, down, right? You can buy it today for the same price you could buy it for in 2018. 2017, you would have paid more for it. And this company has progressed along without any major dips, right? Without any major fall-offs. That is a chart of an absolute goddamn stallion.
Yeah.
There's no mineral explorer you can point me to that over almost 10 years has that good a looking chart.
Oh.
There's no one that hasn't had a period of like, oh, it's going wrong right now, we've got to turn it around. This is a beautiful 10 years, stability, de-risked, nobody's losing their house on NioCorp.
Right.
Now, the last year it's got really volatile, but it's volatile upwards, right? This thing is now starting to hit a new investor class. Back 2017, you're looking at guys that are highly speculative. They're investing in results, right? Draw results. Now you're guys that are coming in investing in what's been proven, and the jockey on the horse that has shown that they ain't getting bucked off. This is a really, really thoroughbred looking chart.
Yeah.
Does that mean
it's a very important moment in that chart's existence?
100%.
Does that mean you just answered the next question, Chris, about your cash spending?
Yeah, look, if I was responsible for your money and there's 7,500 of it out there, I think right now is a good time to just shovel that money into the hole, cover it over, and let it grow for the next 20 years. Because if you'd shoveled money in 2017 at this exact same share price, right, you haven't lost a damn thing in all that time, but you've got a company that's gone from an idea to the next big thing.
Yeah.
Right. Galen?
Again, long lens in terms of investment sentiment. I'm not a day trader. I detest the act. I know it's there, but it, I think, gives rise to all sorts of rabid valuations that aren't real. Companies like this build solid value over time. Yeah, there are bumps and dips and that kind of stuff. That just happens, but it regulates itself. It brings it back to a place of reality. And what you see over that 10-year course, or so the course since 2013, is a nice general upward swing, a solid build. And considering that this mine, at the very least, will be operating for the next 30 years, this is something that's going to be bringing you your retirement savings. So, I mean, if you were to get in right now, instead of dumping your money into Bitcoin, and who knows, I could be wrong, but cryptocurrency, as far as I'm concerned, is a sham. If you dump it into this, there's some solidity there. There's a product being produced. There's a sale happening. There's a common good that this is actually addressing. So, how can you go wrong? I'm throwing the whole thing in. And again, walking away, not even looking at it.
Nice.
Galen doesn't throw it all in ever.
No, I'm a cheap bastard.
Cheaper.
Michelle?
All the time. That's
I'll keep it short and sweet. I like the technicals, love the fundamentals. I'm going all in, 7,500.
That's the bell, ladies and germs. $22,500 towards NioCorp. That is NB Nancy Bridget on the Toronto Exchange, and it's Mark Smith out of Centennial, Colorado. You guys have really kind of convinced me of something here. Folks, after your own homework and own research, however, please do not assume anything. And past performance does not guarantee future results, but you just saw the fellows go through the long-term chart for NioCorp. It's looking pretty damn good. That is all. Thank you, Vishal, Chris, Galen. We'll see you on the next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.